welcome back to our Cheap channel, the channel dedicated to all things cheap in the world of fragrances. And today's video is hopefully gonna be very short. I just wanna quickly go through 5 here that to me and to most people might smell a little average, a little normie, a little of an NPC kind of smell, but they're still really good. There's still gonna be something that's gonna smell very well appealing, very easy to wear, something that's gonna even get you compliments, even very clean, make you smell groomed and well put together. And definitely not something that is gonna be hated. They're gonna be things that most people are going to find really, really nice. And that's what I wanna go through real quick. Again, some of these are gonna be clones and smell very similar to other things, but if it's good, it's good. So let's go ahead and get into the first one here. It is by Abercrombie & Fitch. Again, I reviewed this whole line before in a previous video, and it is Authentic, the original Authentic. This is gonna be something that has a very strong similarity to Creed's Aventus. Very well-known scent profile and niche fragrance, also sometimes called the king of fragrances. And this has a lot of similarities to it, except this has a lot more oak mossy greenness to it, a good bit of earthiness, almost like a mineralic kind of take to it, a very nice citric pop on the top, a little spicy as well. I think it has cayenne pepper in it, adding in a little more of a spicy nuance than just the Aventus style. Definitely something that's going to lean toward the summer, spring, and fall season. I think winter, you could get away with it, but it might not be as loud of a push. Performance on this is going to be a little under average. It has a very good projection for the first 30 to 45 minutes. Amazing sillage on it, but it dies down very quickly to being something that is like medium to intimate, and the longevity on this is probably going to be between that 4 to 5 hour mark. And when it dries down, it's gonna have a good bit of a musky, almost watery freshness to it, but still really, really good. A nice different take on the Aventus style. It's still gonna be something though that's gonna get you compliments and make you smell very good. Again, very versatile, just as versatile as the Creed Aventus profile is. This is also gonna be very inexpensive and available. I've seen this even at rack stores, but online you can usually get this between like $15 to $20, sometimes $22, depending on how big the bottle is. And the presentation is also not that bad. A good little textured label and a full glass bottle. And the bigger presentation bottles have a magnetic cap on it. Very, very cool, but again, really nice. Again, not gonna be something that's gonna be blow your socks off kind of style, but still something that smells really good. Now on to the next one, which is actually one that I wore in my last rack store haul video. It's one that since I've opened it, I've worn it and smelled it and really grown attracted to it. It's actually what made me want to do this whole video, because it's something that doesn't smell all that unique and all that outstanding, but yet there's something about it that just keeps making me want to wear it and smell it. It is this one here from Kenneth. It is Mankind Legacy. So just one look at the bottle and you can already tell what this is going to smell like. I mean, a light blue transparent bottle with some nice chrome metallic finishes around it. You can already tell this is something that's going to smell very clean, very citric, well groomed. It's a little soapy as well, a lot more soapy than you would expect, especially by looking at the note breakdown. It does start off very citrus. It has a mandarin note in it, which is very noticeable, but it does also have a good bit of musk in the background. It has some, I think it's cedar needles in this, or cedar notes, which adds a good bit of woodiness to it. A lot of sage aromatics in there, rosemary as well, and it dries down, having a little bit of an ambery warmth to it, but all while through it has, like I said, a very soapy quality, almost like bar soap, but not really old school or mature smelling. It's still very modern and slick and clean, makes you smell well groomed, well put together, and fresh. This is very much something you'll wear during the spring and summer times. Perfect for high heat weather as well. And on those driest, hottest, sun beaten down days, this is gonna be perfect in it. And performance on this as a freshie and cheapie is super surprising. A medium to loud projection for the first 45 minutes or so, and then it dries down to having a actually good medium projection for majority of the fragrance. And longevity on this is easily 7 hours. I was able to spray this on myself and then go to bed and then wake up the next morning and still smell that musky, woody, clean dry down on my arm, so really good longevity on this. It has that mankind profile to it in there, but it's not too sweet, but you can definitely tell that it's in the background working around everything, but really good, that designer air to it. Easily likable, again, not something that you're gonna be having a hard time wearing and having, you know, trouble getting people to like it. It's something that's going to be easily attractive. And availability on this, like I said, I found this at a rack store, so you can find this at rack stores like Ross, TJ Maxx, Burlington, or Marshalls. But you can also easily find this at most discounters for a low price, between like $20 to $35, depending on if you get the smallest size or the largest 6.7 ounce. Really, really good. Can't recommend this one enough. Again, not going to be super unique, but it still smells really good. Now onto the next one here, which is one that no matter if you're in the cheapy side of fragrances or the mainstream side, you have no doubt come across this one and smelled it at some point. It is just a classic in men's fragrances, coming out way back in the early 2000s. It is one that definitely us cheapy collectors hail as a, you have to have this kind of cheapy, and it's one that I've had before, used up the whole bottle, and just recently got another one, and so glad that I did. It is this one here from Burberry. It is Burberry's Touch for Men. So this one here, I know has been a signature for many men out there for years. Some of them probably still wearing it now, and it's not hard to see why. This is something that's gonna come across very, very musky, a little powdery, but very woody. It has a nice dry woodiness to it. I think sandalwood is the dominant note in this, but it's not something that's gonna be overly pickly unless you spray a lot on, not like Santal 33 from Le Labo. This is something that's gonna have a spiced wood kind of feel to it. Any of you who know any of the Penguin fragrances, it's gonna come off very similar to Penguin's, I think, original one. The one in the blue and red bottle, very, very close to this one. Of course, this one has probably a little bit more smoothness to it, a little higher quality, but that Penguin fragrance would be a good alternative to this if you don't wanna get this one, but still, this is an absolute classic. Smells a little classy, dressed up. Again, it did come out in the early 2000s, so it has a little retro throwback kind of style to it, especially with the way the musk and the powderiness go together, but it still, I think, has a very good modern application even today, that modern guys, young or old, can still pull this one off easily. The only thing is with this is that performance isn't going to be the absolute best, which I know Burberry has a problem with that in their fragrances anyway. It's going to have a medium projection for that first, hour or so you wear it. It's going to dry down a little bit, but not too much. I think longevity on this is about like 6 hours or so, or at least how it was on my skin. And as it goes into 6 hours, it's going to dry down even more, keeping a little bit of that musky, woody facet to it, but still, even as it dries down, it keeps that same smooth, clean profile to it. Seasonality with this is easily spring, summer, and fall. I think some people might think spring and summer is more suited for this because it does have a little bit of aquatic, ozonic factor. It's very airy, very light and transparent. It has, again, that freshness, that cleanness to it. Wintertime and the cold weather might not be the best, but maybe you could spray up enough on this where the woodiness comes out, but I think those warmer weather days are gonna be more appropriate. This has also been almost exclusively defined as the quintessential office fragrance. It's perfect for formal gatherings, perfect for even casual wear as well, but because of that medium to intimate projection and that, very subtle sillage to it and that clean factor, it's perfect for, the intimate, close encounter settings you'd have in an office environment. But again, it's very versatile for other settings as well. I think day or night is good. And as far as availability and pricing, you can find this everywhere, especially at rack stores. I see it every time I go to either a Ross or a TJ Maxx. It's always in there in different sizes at different prices, and even online discounters, you're gonna find it for comparative prices online. But I think rack stores may be your best bet because you don't have to pay that extra for shipping. You just gotta pay a little bit extra for tax. And the prices on these, even though they're Burberry, they're still not gonna be too cheap. For some reason, Burberry fragrances don't discount too much, but because it is old school and it is on the cheaper end, you're going to get it for around like $25–30 if you're looking at this size, or maybe $35 for the larger size and a little more for the full size one, but still really good, really well worth it. If you haven't got your nose on this one, I highly recommend trying it out. Again, not gonna be something that's super unique, but still something that is really good and worth wearing. Now on to the next one here, and it's another one that I got in a rack store haul video, and I had a hard time in the video kind of pinning down what it smelled like, but finally at the end of it I got it. And when you find out what this smells like, you'll see why I have it in this video here. But it is from Camuto, and it is their fragrance Terra. So you'd think that with a name called Terra that it's going to be a very earthy fragrance, and that's kind of what I was hoping as well. I was hoping that Camuto had something that was going to be very unique, you know, very niche profile, earthy, a little, you know, mineralic, maybe a little woody, you know, a little bit of a dirty kind of feel to it, maybe fresh and clean, things like that. But I didn't get any of that. Yes, I got the fresh and clean part, but nothing with the Terra earthy part. Instead, what I got with this fragrance was something that was very minty, fresh, effervescent, bright, almost in clean, ozonic, very sweet, like a bubblegum style sweetness, a lot of vanilla, and a little bit of a fruity note to it, and a lot of musk and woods in the background, which smelled nothing like I was expecting. But if any of that sounds familiar to you, it's because what this has a strong similarity to is Versace Eros, which is a scent profile that everyone and their mama knows, because everyone and their mama has probably worn it, which is why this is in this video, because Versace Eros has been seen as a kind of average, day-to-day, you know, mediocre NPC kind of style scent profile, except for maybe some of the other releases like the Parfum and all, which I actually personally enjoy, and things like Eros Flame and all that. But this comes off more closer to the original EDT, but it has a little bit of a twist. I think it's actually way more aquatic, fresh, almost watery. It has more of a light citric profile to it, not as apple heavy and not as mint heavy. It's like a very clean, effervescent kind of mint. Definitely like that profile, but with a Camuto, different designer kind of take on it. But it is actually really, really good. And with that kind of freshness to it, you actually wouldn't expect it to have good longevity or performance, but it's actually really, really good. Performance on this, as far as projection, is a medium projection, maybe a little loud depending on how much you spray for that first hour or so, and then longevity easily goes into the almost 6 hour mark, maybe 5 depending on again how you wear it, but 5 or 6 hours easily to say with a medium projection, maybe a little intimate, of course depends on again how you wear it. So not exactly average, but I'd say overall a little below average performance, but still for the price that I picked this up at, which was like almost $17, it was not bad at all. And with the scent profile like Versace Eros, but freshened up a little bit, it actually has a good bit of versatility to it. Easily spring, summer, fall, maybe wintertime depending on how much you spray. Daytime is perfect. I think nighttime is good as well, even date nights, but it's very playful, very casual, easy to go out with your friends and hang out and have this on, going out to parties, going out to game nights, whatever. It's perfect for all that wear. I think a little too playful for a formal gathering and maybe for office wear, but definitely anything else aside from that, it would work great in. As far as availability, again, I picked this up from a TJ Maxx for very inexpensive, so maybe other rack stores you can find it, but I think online discounters may be your best bet at that, because you can find larger quality bottles of this for only about $5 to $10 more than what I found it at a rack store. So really, really good. I highly recommend picking it up. Again, not gonna be the most unique because it is basically cloning something, but it's its own twist on it, and it still smells absolutely lovable. Now on to the last one here, and this one's probably gonna be like the poster child of this kind of style video of things that smell very average, very day-to-day, average Joe kind of thing, but it still smells really good. And it's one that I've actually done a recent single fragrance review talking about this one, and I think it really deserves it. It's my favorite iteration of this in the line that it's in, and it's one that I will continue to rave and talk about as long as I have this channel. It is from Mont Blanc, and it is Legend Eau de Parfum. So even though this is the Eau de Parfum version, the EDT will still work as well, but I do think that this one is the more classed up, grown up, and more matured version. And in case you don't know, this is Mont Blanc's take on Abercrombie & Fitch's Fierce, which again is another average Joe profile. I mean, everyone and their mom has worn that one. It's been people's signature for years upon years, even before this one. But I do think that this actually takes the Fierce profile, makes it less expensive, but yet a little more improved in a way, like I said, more rich, dense, more base heavy, and a little more mature and grown up like it should be, in my opinion. This is something that's gonna have a lot of woodiness in it, very, very wood dense, a little bit of a freshness to it. It has violet in here, it has leather, adds a little bit of a dark factor to it. Also has similarities of fragrances like mahogany teak wood from Bath & Body Works, which is also another way a lot of people are introduced to this style, but this definitely has better performance than that one and even Fierce itself. It has really good longevity, easily 8 hours or so. Again, depends on how you spray it and how you wear it, and projection with this when you first spray it on is medium to loud for that first hour or so, and as it dries down, it keeps a very medium projection with a wonderful, wonderful sillage. You'll keep smelling yourself with this all through it. I mean, this does have a synthetic, almost, linear profile to it, so you may go nose blind to it, but trust me, as you wear it, it will still be there, and a little while later, you'll come back and be like, oh wow, it's still on me. It doesn't go away that easily. A lot of versatility in this, just like Fierce. I mean, with the woods in this, but also a little bit of freshness and a little bit of all that in between, it easily makes it an all-year fragrance with warm or cold, spring, summer, fall, winter, day or night, dressed up or dressed down, date nights or hanging out with friends. I mean, it's all that, everywhere you want to go. It's basically the culmination of all the stuff that I have here. Very much a grab, spray, and go kind of fragrance. Just have this sitting on your counter or at the end of your nightstand right before you leave. Just spray it on and head out the door, not even thinking twice about it. It is that easy to wear. Again, not gonna be the most original, not gonna be something that's gonna make you stand out from the crowd, but you are definitely gonna smell good with it. As far as availability and pricing on this one, I mean, really, I've been able to find this at rack stores or online, but it just depends on where you find the best price. It's definitely gonna be a little more expensive than the EDT version, but I think it's worth it for the extra boost and the extra depth you get out of it. Absolutely signature worthy. I mean, I think everyone should get their nose on this one and try it out. I mean, it might not be something that you continue going with, but I do think it deserves at least to be tested and tried. Again, very average, very NPC kind of style, but you can't deny that it smells good, and whatever job you need it to do, it's definitely gonna get it done. And here they are, guys, 5 fragrances that honestly smell very average, not gonna be the most unique and the most outstanding, blow your socks off, raise the roof kind of fragrance, but they still smell very good and they still get the job done regardless. And they're on top of that very inexpensive, and most of these very available as well. So you can't really help but try these out and give them the chance that I think they each deserve. Again, guys, these are mine here that I consider the average Joes, but what do you think about them? Do you own any of these here? And if you do, what are your thoughts on them? Are they as average as I'm talking about, or do they stand out a little more than some other things? Or what fragrances do you think that are included in the same kind of category of things that smell very mediocre, but yet you can't stop smelling them or wearing them? Let me know in the comments below what you think. Or what fragrances do you think that I need to go ahead and try out, even though most people seem to hate on them? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see if I can pick them up at some point soon. Again, if you do like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and let me know so I can keep making videos just like this one. And if you are watching this video and you're not subscribed to the channel, but you do like what you see here or what you see elsewhere on the channel, please consider supporting this channel by subscribing and even hitting that notification bell so you can see other videos that I upload in the future. Again, there's a lot that I have planned, and I would love for you to come along with me on this cheap fragrance journey, and hey, maybe I can even help you discover something new along the way. And as usual, guys, that's all I have for today's video. Again, thank you for being here with me and for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see all of you again in the next video. Be blessed.